I made $2,300 day trading SPY with my specific strategy today. And I'm going to walk you through the live trades that I did, which is 2 of them, for that to exactly happen. So if we go here, go ahead and click play. And if you're familiar with my strategy, then this is the exact same strategy I've been using the entire time. So we went ahead and drew a major supply zone, at least at this point in time, on this area, 526.45, and drew it over to the right. After that, since it basically at the time on the 1 minute chart, it came up over here, already pushed downward, came back up to this spot over here, right, where I'm circling, and already broke through it. That showed proof that it was already a weak zone and it looked like it wanted to go to the upside. So at this point, I waited for it to kind of come back, kind of bounce back to the upside as it is now. And I went in and entered, went in and entered an option call to the upside. I entered at about 1.23, which is, if you bought only one, only 123 bucks. So most people can afford that. But for me, I entered it with 100 of them, so you can do that math of that. And I basically kind of let it go up, not even that very far, realistically. I didn't have a planned target exit because, as you can see on the bottom right, I started to go back to see, hey, what's a multi-day zone for where exactly I'm going to exit? Like, what's the last time it's been this high? And I went back for the past, monthly, anyway, for the past, couple of years, I believe. And we're at an all-time high for the entire SPY, for the entire stock market as a whole. So for me, I don't technically fully like that, right? So I usually would, that's why I started to look back over here at the chart. It shows that I am in a profit at about $700. I look back over here. We do have a green candle kind of going up, but it's kind of phasing out, if you will, because it's not giving just direct momentum to shoot fire up right away. So I contemplated kind of getting out with the green. Even if it did keep going up, I don't care, because realistically, in my eyes, getting out with money is better than, just staying in the trade and letting it potentially shoot back downward, because that'd be the worst thing possible. So it kept going up for a little bit, then an aggressive pullback, as you saw here. Kind of panicked a bit to be like, screw that, it looks like it's going backwards. Got a red candle, pulled it all the way down to about $800 and sold it at the $800 in profit, even though it wasn't $1,400 basically. But you see how fast that exactly can happen, as far as from up $1,400 to only, quote unquote only, up $800, right? So that's one of the reasons I don't, it's a high of day. I just want to get the heck out of it. I just want to, get my profits. And here's the proof for the $800 for the day. And what's behind me? Oh, that's my other chart. But anyway, so at this point I was thinking, well, it looks like it's going to do a pullback downward to today's high of the day, because that's the only data I had, and then push back upward, because that was ideally what I wanted it to essentially do. And so we kind of let it play out a little bit here on these 1 minute candle pieces here. And it's very soon, I think it jumps ahead on my video here, so I can exactly show you what does happen essentially. But keep in mind, you have to use what's in front of you. If it's at a high of day and high of the year and high of all time, the only data you can play with is the previous high for that specific day, which is 2 candles agreeing to each other at the 526.51. So if we fast forward, basically nothing happened exactly. So I went ahead, it never came back to my little spot. I just basically went ahead and jumped to, where are we? This area here. Yeah, so this was the zone we had drew. And then on the 5 minute chart, it kept spiking up. And so as you see, it just kept shooting up. So I said, well, nothing I could do besides still wait. Hence why I have like a little alarm here at this spot here at 526.54. So I was waiting for it to push downward. At that time, I started to notice, well, hey, if it's shooting downward, it may be potentially give me the opportunity to actually do an option put to the downside, right? So I went ahead and drew the line showing the high of the day between these kind of 2 candles, a little bit early, but these 2 candles up here. But at 527.20, went ahead and drew the little rectangle that's a very small amount. It can't be 10 cents like the typical zone, because it needs to only be the max size of the smallest candle, because these zones are created from this green candle and this red candle. 2 candles showing an agreement of that specific time of the day. So it's a very small little supply zone, if you will. And if we look at the 1 minute chart, it essentially is rejecting off of it, but I need it to, this candle to finish out for it to come back around, tap, and then come back potentially down if I was to do a put. And then you have to think about it. 50-50 chance is only two things that can happen. So it's either it comes back up, do a put, or I follow the trend, which I like to do because it increases my odds of winning, and I let it break through, come back to the tap it, and then rocket back upward, right? There's only two things the dang stock can do. Like a lot of people, and we'll let this play out, but I want to talk about this. A lot of people have this issue of not understanding where exactly they should be doing trades. So like first things first, if you're not following the trend and it's a clear trend, it doesn't make any sense. You just need to actually be getting the simplest money possible. Like if this did go up, I already know what happens, right? But if this did go up, hit it, and come back downward for an option put to the downside, sure, maybe I might take it, but I don't want to take it. All the past activity has shown that it's been going up. So why exactly would I go against the trend? It doesn't make any sense, right? So if he wants to go up, cool, we'll just go up. As you saw with the trade before that, I only needed a few minutes anyway. You don't need a lot. And so it kind of gave, and then you see over here, it had the red candles over here, started kind of giving a little rightwards action, if that's a terminology I guess I could use. So it started going right because of this little small green candle, because it's kind of running out of steam, if you will. And then it starts trying to go back up, and I'll fast forward a bit for you. So it starts going down a little bit, but those candles still are getting very small. See, like these candles here are decently small. So then, instead of staring at it, I kind of set an alarm at this point here to say when actually this alarm goes off, because it went back to that price. Then I can come back to the screen, analyze what's going on, and see, does it maybe somehow determine the fact that I need to do an option put, even though I don't want to? Or hopefully, does it break through so I could do a call, right? Almost like a breakout, if you will. So if I fast forward again, you see it kind of went close to it, didn't exactly fall yet, getting close to it, didn't exactly fall. Next candle, it broke the alarm. I'll let it play here. It broke the alarm. So then now we're at the part, right? Only one of two things can happen. Either it can reject hard and do something I don't want to do, and I'd contemplate getting in on a trade, on a put, or it can go up, come back down to tap, and then shoot rocket back upward. And so if we fast forward a little bit, you see now it came back downward for this red candle. So it's giving us exactly kind of what we want, because it broke through the zone, came back on the 1 minute chart here, and we want it to go upward after that for an option call, essentially. So again, that way we're trading with the trend. And you see, that's one of the importance of the candle formations being zone candle, reversal candle, confirmation candle, and entry candle, because you need 3.1 candles back to back to show you proof that it's rejecting and you don't get in these bad, horrible trades, essentially. Because you see, some people may have entered the put here, but realistically, you need something like, as it's doing now, we got a zone candle now, because it went up, tapped it over here, zone candle, and we need a green candle after that, which would be a reversal candle, then a confirmation candle after that, and then potentially entry candle. That, or just general upward direction showing those candles are correct, right? You need the chart to prove to you that the trade actually is a legit trade, not that you feel like, you know, it probably is going to go up and it makes sense if I just jump in now. None of the feel crap. You just need to jump in based off of evidence, based off of analytical data that's in front of you. So if we jump ahead, right, next candle's green, the following one's a little bit red, but check this out. We have a zone candle, reversal candle, confirmation, and an entry candle right here. So I'm looking at it, trying to do an entry piece here. I think I don't get entered exactly here, but we'll see. So it started to show a little weakness, a little fatigue, and I didn't get entered, so I exited before anything, got a little worried. But I still did want to enter, right? It still was above the zone. My stop loss is exactly the bottom of this red zone here, which is very close. And if we skip ahead a little bit, again, you can see it did get very, very close to breaking that zone. But I still did keep, at least at this point anyway, these little trend lines showing an upward direction. So we have the zone candle reversal confirmation piece here. And for me, I was looking at, okay, if it continues to form in an upward fashion, then I can use this as the entry candle and go ahead and actually enter the trade. So if we let that play out a little bit, I start looking to the right. and went ahead and put an entry piece over here at about 0.95. Canceled it out, got a little worried, right? I want to have a good entry, started getting a little red. Personally, if looking at this, of course, hindsight's 2020, I should have entered it, of course, because as mentioned, that entry piece was above these past candles here. So definitely could have got an earlier entry. But a little worried. I just wanted real proof. I wanted some volume of these candles to kind of show a little growth so I could show myself that it's actually working. Started getting happy that this is kind of almost like a doji, showing it's kind of going upward. The red's gone. So I tried to jump in with 100 contracts. Finally got in anyway for my call at about 0.93. So got a good entry, got the exact entry I wanted actually. And then again, didn't know how high it was going to go. So I said, well, I guess we will essentially go ahead and draw our stop loss being below this red zone here, and didn't have anywhere to know where to go. So went ahead and drew a take profit piece just arbitrarily at this spot right here, because there's no data to say where it's going or etc. I don't go purely based off of momentum or like, hey, once this candle kind of shows that things are pulling back, this or that. I go all based off of, hey, if it went to this little yellow line, because I have no data in front of me, looks like I'm profitable, don't care, gonna sell. Came back, alarm popped off, got excited, went up pretty high to about a 1.1 at the high at this point in time, and tried to sell it at about 1.6, shooting it around, and we went ahead and sold it for profit. And you may be wondering, Maurice, why did you sell it so fast? This thing just keeps going to the moon. Well, I don't care about the moon, because the worst thing possible is for it to almost try to go for the moon and you come back and you lose all the money you have. So here's the $2,300 in profit that I mentioned and that I talked about. So that's the profit for just today specifically. And if we go back to the chart, I believe it shows towards the end. We'll go back here and pause that. So the reason why I exited, because as you saw, I'll pull up the actual Thinkorswim platform over here. Here's the 2300, right, that I talked about on today. Go to charts. Oh, it rejected. Another trade while I was in the middle of this. But anyway, so you see, this is where we were essentially. It just rocketed upward. So we exited about here. The next whole candle went up, and really the next couple of candles went up. So sure, I could have kept on staying with it. But this depends on the day. I've been trading for years. What I see typically, what happens if I see a giant candle like that versus all these small candles, is a big upward upside and a big downside. I've lost enough trades in the past for me to know that just because it's going to go rocketing up now does not necessarily mean it's going to go rocketing up afterwards. Even if it is with the trend, I don't care. I want to get out with my profits and call it a day. And since we're here, by the way, I'm just checking this out. Look at this. Another trade that actually happened. I just can't enter all the trades. I don't like doing a bunch of trades. I don't really care. I have enough money. I'm financially comfortable, thankfully. So you look at this. We had a high of the day at 528.08. Drew a little 10-cent zone downward. And then on the 1 minute chart, it came down. Came to tap it. Basically fell already. So we had zone, candle reversal, confirmation. Boom. Potential entry. Went back up. No stop loss. Stop loss is at the top. Came down. Got choppy. And then boom, flew all the way down. And then went over here and boom, flew all the way down again. This is another couple thousands of dollars, right? And realistically, it looks like it's going back up, maybe to hit it again. And you may be thinking also, by the way, Maurice, you are actually not knowing what the heck you're talking about, because you said you should be doing calls. Well, here's the thing. From all the data over here, it was purely going up. Over here on the side, right, in this area here, or this area on the 1 minute, 5 minute chart, it went sideways. Then it went sideways for another 5 minutes. Then it went sideways for another 5 minutes. Then it went sideways for another 5 minutes. That's 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30 minutes that it went sideways finally. Versus over here, right, even if we did look for a put, which again, I didn't like it, it didn't make sense unless it showed me otherwise, it went sideways for 10. 10 minutes is not evidence. 30 minutes is evidence that it's going sideways or maybe trying to reverse back downward for an option put. That's a completely different factor. So doing a put on this is why that made sense to have that entry piece in this area. But again, I don't want to do more trades. I like to trade maybe an hour a day, maybe 2 hours max, and then record a video like this for fun. I kind of enjoy doing this for 2024. I actually try to help people out and then call it a day. But hey, if you want to take multiple trades, earn a couple thousands of dollars, that's perfectly fine. I value my time over massive amount of money when it comes to staring at charts for hours and hours and hours. Different point in my life. So either way, that's how I made the $2,300. I have no idea. $2,300 for the day.